What up, Speed Fit fam? I am bringing a very important video to you. This is a topic that needs to be discussed more, and what I want to do is film this video to give you this so that you can watch it whenever you need to, because it's going to have a lot of impact on how you can see your progress and how to actually know that you're making progress, and what to do if you feel like you're not making progress fast enough, and then also how to fast track what you're already doing. Okay, so look, one of the big things that we notice the most is that everyone always focuses too much on this total body weight. All right, now we want to change this up. We don't want to make that the main focus because there are other things at play. And what I want to do is show you a bunch of different scans from different people, and I want to show you the different results so that you can reference them. Right? You might look at it and be like, oh, this is what my scan says, and then I'm going to show you what it means, what you can do if you want to either change it or do more of it. But basically, it's going to break down how to read these body scans and how to know what you need to do, and how to make sure that you are actually making progress. And then after that, I want to show you one of my scans, and I want to show you how to break down what it is that you need to do. And then I'm going to show you a document that we have in the studio. It's literally sitting on the table. And if you haven't looked at it, this is a reminder to make sure you look at it, because literally the whole process is mapped out. It tells you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and in what order so that you can do it. And it just takes away that unknown. I think there's a lot of unknowns around what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And what we're going to discuss right now is all of that. Okay, so look, the first scan I want to show you is ideal for weight loss. All right, now I say weight loss because we know that that's not the main goal, but that's what we tend to think of when we think of progress. All right, whenever we say, hey, what's the main goal? Usually it's lose weight, tone up. That's what we hear. But it's not necessarily the goal. Now, when you tell us that your goal is weight loss, what your actual goal is fat loss. All right. Now, along with that, it's fat loss and muscle retention, because you want to lose your body fat and you want to keep the muscle mass. When you keep the muscle mass, that's what gives you that shape. If you lose both, you're going to have to try and put on the muscle mass to build that shape again in the long term. So the aim of the game is to try and retain all of that muscle, even put on muscle at the same time, and then lose that fat mass. So whenever you say that your goal is weight loss, it's not technically just weight loss, because if you were to lose 10 kilos, but you only lost 10 kilos of muscle and you kept all the fat, you wouldn't be happy about it. So it's not necessarily just the total body weight. All your total body weight tells you is the gravitational pull of your body to the earth. That's literally all it does. It doesn't tell you whether or not you're making progress or not. Okay? And one of the scans in here that I do want to show you is what that means. Okay? So look, this first one, ideal for weight loss. So let's go into what we're actually looking at here. Okay, so this scan is done over just under 2 weeks. And you can see here that what we're looking at here is total body weight went down by just under a kilo. Now, total fat mass is actually down by over a kilo. So here's another thing too. The main goal is total fat mass. So this is the actual number that we should be looking at more. This number up here isn't. So you can see here, down a total of 1.1 kilos in body fat. And then here you can see that the muscle mass has gone up a little bit too, which is bang on. That's the aim of the game. So this is perfect if your goal is to lose weight and tone up, because technically speaking, like I said before, it's to lose body fat and maintain muscle mass or increase muscle mass to give you that shape. Okay, that's what toning up is. Now, if your scan doesn't look like this, there are a few things that could be at play, and that's what we're going to get to into the next couple of scans. So look, if the main goal for you is what we just said, this is what your scan ideally should look at. Okay, that's what it should look like. You want to be losing body fat and maintaining muscle mass. I'm looking at these green numbers here, okay? This next scan, oop, I lost my face. This next scan, you can see here that I've labeled it needs more protein. Okay, I'm going to explain why. Now you can see here that total body weight, cool, we've gone down 2.7 kilos, that's good. Okay, you can also see here in this next one that lean body mass has also gone down, which is when we were talking about in the first scan that the aim of the game is to retain that muscle mass. You just want to be losing the body fat. Okay, and we can also see here that we're down 1.7 kilos in body fat, which is also good. And we've gone down a year in our bio age as well, which is another good thing. So let's break this one down. The reason I've said more protein is because of this, okay? When we are losing weight, we want to try and maintain as much of this muscle mass as we can. Lean body mass, skeletal muscle mass. If we're losing muscle mass at more of a higher rate, that's a clear indicator that we're not having enough protein in our diet. Okay, so whenever you see a body scan, if it's your own body scan and you see that you've lost weight, but you've lost lean body mass as well, that's an indicator that you're not hitting your protein goals. You need to be having more protein in your diet. And usually this pops up when we ask the question, hey, how's your protein intake? Are you eating protein? I don't really know. Like, I don't really know how many grams I'm getting in. I don't really know. I don't really eat it every meal, so on, so on. And this is the indicator for that. So if you find that you're losing weight, right, you're losing body fat, but you're also losing muscle mass, to slow this down or actually reverse it, which is even better, you want to be making sure that you're hitting your protein goals, okay? Because that's going to help your body retain as much muscle mass as you can. But without that protein, you're going to start to sacrifice that muscle mass. And I've experienced this firsthand, and I'm going to show you one of these scans are my scan, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. But this is a good indicator of where the focus point is, and this is why we need to be doing these scans more often. Because when you look at this, it's not a bad thing. You're looking at this and you're like, okay, cool. I've got some tweaks to make, and all the tweaks is protein. Okay. Now, if you look at it, we're losing weight, so we're on the right track from a calorie standpoint because we're obviously losing weight. The only thing we need to change is our protein intake, and if we can eat more protein, then we're going to help retain that body mass, that lean body mass. Now, the cool thing is, protein and carbs, they're the same amount of calories. So if you already know that you're eating the right amount of calories, you can do a little substitution, all right? Say if you substitute 50 grams of carbs for 50 grams of protein, and you start eating 50 grams more of protein and 50 grams less of carbs, that's exactly the same amount of calories, but you're going to help retain more muscle mass. That's a little tweak that you can implement that's going to help you hold on to that muscle mass, and it's going to start making that progress a lot better. Because at this rate, like I said, it's not bad. You're losing weight, right? We're losing weight. That's a good thing. But as we start to lose more and more and more, say for example, every 3 kilos we lose 1 kilo of lean body mass. Say if we lose 9 kilos, we're down 3 kilos of muscle mass, and we have to put that muscle mass back on down the track. And it's a lot harder to do that without putting on fat than it is to retain muscle and drop the body fat. Okay, so this one here, if your scan looks like this, if you're losing weight, great. But if you feel like you're losing too much lean body mass, need more protein. Okay, next one. This one here is a goal dependent one. Okay, so everyone's got different goals. This scan is going to depend on what your goal actually is. Okay. You can see here that total body weight has actually gone up, but it's gone a good up. Okay, it's not all bad. Seeing your body weight go up is not a bad thing, right? If you lose no body fat but you gain 2 kilos of lean body mass and you've put on 2 kilos, that is a good thing. The more muscle mass you have in your body, the easier it is for your body to burn fat. Okay, so don't be disheartened when you see your total body weight go up. Okay, well, we see a lot of times is people say they want to tone up, but then they see their body weight go up, then they freak out, try and lose the weight, and then they're like, oh, now I feel too skinny, I want to make sure I tone back up. And then they tone back up, but they put on weight, and then it's just a vicious this, and that. And then 6 months of just doing this same thing, you're back in the same spot. You haven't made any progress. Okay, so you've got to be okay with what your actual goal is, and that's why I've put this here. So if your goal is to lose fat, okay, if it's to lose weight, you want to lose fat, maintain the muscle mass, this is where we want to tweak the goals a little bit. Because you can see here, the fact that we're putting on weight means that our body is eating more calories than we need. And that's going to help when it comes to building muscle. But when we build muscle and put on weight, there's a highly likelihood that we're going to put on a bit of fat at the same time. That's just how our bodies work. So if your goal is to tone up, you have to be okay with putting on a little bit of body fat. Okay, not a lot, but a little bit. That's the way it works. And then when you put on enough lean body mass that you're ready to then try and just lose the body fat and maintain the muscle mass, cool. Then we make a couple little tweaks. Okay, so that's why I've put this here is that it's goal dependent. Because if your goal is to tone up and build muscle, this is good because you're putting on more muscle mass than you are fat mass, okay? And you're actually doing the right stuff. I'd probably say you could still increase protein intake, but you're putting on enough that it's not too much. If you were to increase your calories by too much, that's when you'll find that the total fat mass will go up a lot more. It'll go up a lot more. And when this is higher than this, that's a red flag. That means we've put up our calories way too high, way too quickly. Okay, so yeah, this one depends. Okay, and this is why you want to look at these things too, because just because you put on a kilo on 1.3 kilos, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You've only technically put on 400 grams of fat. The rest has been muscle. That's not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. So don't freak out when you see that you go from 72 to 74. That is not an indicator of failure. That does not mean that you're not making progress, okay? Depends on the goal. This one here, this is not good. This is the heartbreaking scan that I want to show you, okay? Now you can see here, my goal was to lose weight, right? Or to lose body fat and maintain my muscle mass. You can see here, so far so good. In a couple of weeks, I've lost nearly 3 kilos. If I was just looking at my body weight overall, I'd be stoked with this, okay? But I'm not just looking at that. Because when I scroll down, like I said before, if I want to lose weight, my goal is to lose body fat and maintain muscle mass, okay? Have I done that in this scan? Pause the video, answer the question, then press play. If you said, no, I haven't done this, your answer is correct. Because if you go down, oh, this is where it hurts. Look, I lost 2.8 kilos, but out of that 2.8 kilos, 2.6 kilos of that was lean muscle mass. Okay, that hurts my soul. And then as I go down here, you can see that I'd only lost 200 grams of fat. So out of 3 kilos, only 200 grams of that was body fat. Okay, this is a shocking scan. I should be appalled. And I know that with this one, I was not prioritizing protein. Like I literally wasn't even tracking it. I was just eating less than I usually would. Calories were on point because I was eating less calories, so I did lose weight. But the fact that my body didn't have enough protein, I started to break down my muscle mass for energy, and that's how I lost all of that muscle mass, and it took so much longer to put back on. So yeah, this is a clear indicator of a bad scan. Okay, this is where we need to be making these tweaks, and this is why these red flags are clear indicators, and this is why I say again, we need to be doing these body scans. So yeah, looking at this, Callum lost nearly 3 kilos, yay, but no, because he almost lost 3 kilos of muscle mass, and he only lost 200 grams of fat. Ugh. If your scan looks like this, protein, okay? Or if you're not really sure what you need to be doing, or if you're not even sure of what your goal is, or you don't even know what you're looking at, this is where we need to come in and have a one-on-one. Come and sit down with us, let's go through your body scan. I've honestly found, my personal experience, every single one-on-one that I have with anyone that is looking to progress, which is all of us, there is always a massive learning curve during that one-on-one. Okay, because we're looking at these scans and there is so much information that goes into it that we just don't know, that we don't learn from school, we don't learn from the internet. We just assume that, oh, if I lose weight, then I'm losing fat. That's not true. Okay, so yeah, if you feel like even watching this video, you're like, oh my God, there is so much stuff that I don't know, come to the seminars. Do your body scans, send us emails. Like the more information that we get or the more questions that we hear from you, the more we'll answer, the more value we'll be able to provide. And that's why we send out these surveys so we can find out where you're at, what you're struggling with and what you do want to see, because it helps us, okay? So that's Callum's terrible scan. Now, this last one, before we move on to an individual scan, this is a misleading scan, okay? This is, I say misleading in a good way, right? And this is another reason as to why you shouldn't just focus on body weight. And I'm going to tell you a story about this one too. So, if we're just looking at body weight, this is another pause the video and have a look again. So if we're just looking at body weight, so don't look at the numbers down here, I want you to just look at the total body weight. If in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, all right, in a month, if you only lost 100 grams of your total body weight, would you think that nothing's working? Pause the video, answer it. Yeah, I can guarantee you said yes. If you're only looking at body weight, you're going to say yes, okay? And that's what most of us are doing. We're just looking at body weight. That's why a lot of people will just focus on this. They may be making progress underneath, but they'll just look at this total body weight, and then they'll see this, that they've only lost 100 grams. They'll give up. They'll go and try something different. Right? When it's actually working, but they haven't looked deep enough. So they'll give up, they'll go try something else, and this is where the yo-yo stuff starts to come into it. You only give it 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you're like, it's not working, I'm going to do something different. Then do the same thing, it's not working, I'm going to do something different. Whereas, if you had stuck with this over a certain amount of time, you would have noticed that your total body composition has changed up massively. All right, so look, here, down 100 grams. Okay, if you're just looking at body weight, that's terrible. But, this is where it gets fun, because you can see here that we've put on nearly 2 kilos of lean muscle mass. Right? That's crazy. And then at the same time, we've lost nearly 2 kilos of body fat. So they've cancelled each other out. So body weight stayed nearly exactly the same because we've put on 2 kilos of muscle and we've lost 2 kilos of body fat. So it's balanced everything out. And we're down 2 years on our bio age as well. Okay, so this is big stuff. There's a lot of information here that you will need to be looking at to actually determine whether or not you're making progress. And that's why we want to do more of this stuff and have more of you at our seminars or at our online seminars or coming in for check-ins and coming in for body scans, right? If you're not doing this and you're not aware of it, it's going to take you longer to make progress. Right? If you focus on something really, really, really hard, I can guarantee you'll be more focused on it and you'll make more progress. Okay? If you're more focused on doing a scan and checking your body fat mass, if you notice, if you notice that you're not making progress or your body fat isn't dropping as fast as you hoped, but you're only doing scans one every 4 months, it's going to take you a lot longer to do it. But if you're doing a scan every 6 weeks, every 4 weeks, so that you can actually see, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. What have I been doing well? What have I not been doing well? What do I need to change? Hey guys, can you help me out here? I've noticed that my body scan says that I've gone down in muscle mass. What does that mean? I know that I'm losing weight, but I'm losing muscle mass as well. Is that good? Is that bad? Hey, I've noticed that I've lost body weight, but I've also not lost any fat. What does that mean? Ask these questions because we will tell you. We want to be able to give you this information. So, look, this is a misleading scan. This is really, really, really good progress. But if you're just looking at total body weight, not good progress. So that's why we're tracking these important numbers and we don't even give a floss about the total body weight, okay? Now, the next thing I want to show you is what to do with this information, okay? And how to look at a scan to determine, hey, all right, when Callum says eat more protein, what the heck does that even mean? All right, I'm going to show you. So, we're looking at this. This is an individual scan now. This is my one. All right, so if you're on this on your app and you scroll all the way down, you're going to see your nutrition. Okay, you're going to see calorie recommendations, protein, carbs, and then fat. Oh, I lost me again. All right, and then fat. And then also as you go down, it's going to tell you what your goal is. Okay. Now, it's very important to understand what you've selected as your goal because that's going to dictate where your calories are at and where your macro breakdown is. Okay. So if your goals have changed, it's what you're going to be aware of. Now, if you've put down, you can see here that I've put my goal as optimal health. So this is going to give me a maintenance breakdown. The fact that I've put my goal as optimal health, the recommendations are going to try and keep me at my current weight, all right, my current body composition. It means that I want to stay the same. I don't want to change anything. Okay, if I put muscle gain, it's going to bump these calories up by about 400 and up my protein and then also the rest of my calories because it thinks that my goal is to build muscle. Right? Now, to build muscle, you have to be eating more than your body needs because you can't build something from nothing. Okay. Now, the other thing is that for fat loss, it's going to drop these down by a couple hundred as well and drop all these down because it thinks that you're trying to lose fat. It's going to make you eat less calories so that you can burn body fat. So when you're looking at your scan, you want to make sure that you've selected the right goal. If you need to change it, just go into your settings and change the goal. Do another scan. It's going to give you some different results. Now, let's look at these ones here. These are your recommendations. This is what we're following along with, right? To keep it very simple, start with that, right? If your goal is to lose fat and it spits out this number here, stick with that, right? All you have to do now is track the calories that you're eating. And this is down to you. We don't get to follow you home and watch what you're eating and watch what you're cooking. So this is where it comes down to your own accountability. So this is where you're checking on that. So, for example, for me here, you can see it's got me at optimal health. So it's going to tell me, hey, Callum, you need to eat this many calories, this much protein, this many carbs, this many fats. All right. Now, if you did a scan before and it said that you were losing muscle mass, You then want to be able to track how much protein you're actually eating, and then you want to make sure, hey, am I eating this much protein or am I not? Okay. Now, like I said, we've built a resource on this, and it teaches you how to compare the two, what you need to be doing. So if you haven't looked at it, comment on this so I can send it to you. I'll send you a PDF copy. You can have a look at it and you can see it, and then you can make the changes yourself. This will be a really cool experiment for you to do because it's going to dictate where you're at the moment. And then when you compare it to these numbers on your body scan, you're going to see where your progress is at. If you find that you're not losing body fat, it's usually because of this. All right? Or if you find you're losing too much muscle mass, it's because your protein is you're not eating enough protein. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And then as a starting point, this is what we stick to. All right? If you're not losing weight, calories are up too high, you're eating the wrong stuff. All right? If you're not putting on weight, vice versa. That's a very, very simplified way of explaining it. It obviously gets deeper. If you came to Lockie's health seminar, you would know that. But as a simplified version, that's what this comes down to. All right? And we're looking at protein, carbs, and fats. So look, I'd encourage you now to go and have a look at your body scan, look at your most recent one, look what it says, read through it, look at what your recommendations are, and then can you honestly say that you're aware of how many calories you're eating, that you're aware of how much protein you're getting in, aware of the amount of carbs that you're getting in, and you're aware of the amount of fats that you're getting in. If not, don't stress too much. The biggest one is definitely going to be the calorie thing. Okay, if you're not aware of how many calories you're eating, that's when you want to dial in on that. Because if you're not losing weight, you're not losing body fat, it's usually because you're eating too many calories. All right, and that's the first tweak that we make. Do that for a week, do that for 2 weeks, see how you go. And then from there, you start to see that progress. All right. So look, I'm going to sign out from here, but I really wanted to make this video to make you a bit more aware of how to read a scan, what the scans are saying, what they actually mean. And if you're watching this video now, and now you're looking back and you're thinking, what the heck, I have no clue, that's also good because now you're going to have questions. All right? The fact that you're aware of it now, you're aware of what you aren't aware of, that's a big step because now you can ask these questions. All right? And when you ask these questions, we can organize webinars, we can organize seminars. We want to make sure that we give you guys the right stuff that are going to help you progress. All right? It hurts us when we hear you say, oh, I haven't lost any weight. And then we break down the stuff and it's like, oh, I didn't even know I had to focus on that. That makes us feel like we're not doing our job. So we want to be able to make sure that we give you these resources and we give you this value and you can actually take it on board and do the stuff that you need to do in order to actually, progress and achieve the results that you're aiming to achieve. Okay, so jump on, have a look at your scan, comment below what you found, what questions you have, and as a sneak peek, the next seminar that we do, it's going to be online as well. We're going to run it on this. We want to make sure that you can go through your own scan, have a look at where you're at, look at where you need to be at, and then have a deeper understanding of why we're not looking at total body weight as a progress indicator, because it's incorrect. All right, enjoy your weekend. Love you all. Peace out.